Hello, my fellow viewers and subscribers, and this is Supercholatemilkshake, and I am here, well, doing a bit of an old-fashioned video for once. I know, it's been a while. It's been like since, according to YouTube, January 12th of 2024, which is almost 2 months ago. Yikes. So, anyway, how have I been doing? How are things, and what am I doing? I mean, it's been a while since I did a video like this where I'm just sitting down, talking with you guys, shooting the breeze, and then I'm going to have to edit it later, but that's fine. I don't mind the effort, because I haven't been necessarily putting in that kind of effort with my channel of recent. Most of it's just been the live streams, and even then, those have a mid to mild success. I mean, well, those have like a very, very low to mild success, but, you know, the Metroidvania jam actually has given me something to look forward to in my day, has given me something that gives me some kind of fulfillment for my day, and honestly, it's kind of like playing Stardew Valley with my mom, where, honestly, that's also kind of fun to do, too. But at the same time, I kind of wanted to do this just because I wanted to catch you guys up. And granted, I know this isn't the positive note that I wanted to start out the month of the shake with, but at the same time, this is something that probably had to be done for the month of the shake as well. I wanted to establish a few grounds and tell you about where I'm at, how am I doing, and what's going on. So, here you go. This is what's going on. First of all, I would like to tell you that maybe my plans for getting out of the house by April and late May has been kind of slashed at this point. The reason why this happened was most likely because of the fact that my full-time job turned into a part-time job sometime towards the end of January, and has pretty much remained part-time throughout the entirety of February. So, yeah, my paychecks aren't very big right now. Thankfully, my mom and dad are being gracious and lowered the rent for me, even though, granted, they're not exactly happy about that either. And, of course, well, I know I'm not making money off of this channel. I've already stated that I'll never make money off of this channel, and I'll tell you the truth, I'm actually kind of fine with not getting attention with this channel anymore. It's just a reality that I had to come to accept, because, you know, the truth is that the truth is always the hardest thing to accept. And accepting it is just the first step, really. So, you know, I know that I'm not going to get too much attention on this channel. I'm not going to get too many people watching it. And I'm not going to get too many eyes on it. And, you know, I'm probably never going to make money off of it, even if I tell people, hey, I got a Patreon, hey, I got a coffee. And yes, I did reopen my Patreon page, but I'll get into a little bit more about that a little bit later. The primary thing is that basically when it comes down to it, I'm not really necessarily making enough money to make ends meet to move out of the house right now. So unfortunately, I'm kind of stuck here for the time being. But, however, it doesn't necessarily mean that the idea is completely and totally cut out of the picture. I am still making plans on doing it, but it's going to take a little bit longer than I thought. But that's fine. I'm just going to live with it. It's just something that I'm going to have to roll with, and I'm just going to have to roll with the punches. Because, you know, not everything's going to go to plan immediately, you know? And the real sad truth about this whole matter is that, granted, while I was looking forward to moving out, maybe I'm not fully ready to move out just yet. I still need to work on myself. I still need to get better at things, and I still need to understand just myself, really, who I am, what I need to do. And granted, if the one thing that brings me joy was the Metroidvania jam, really, I really wish I could just quit my job and just start being an indie game developer right away, you know? And just make my magnum opus games and get them out there, you know? But unfortunately, I know my dad isn't going to agree with that. My mom's going to chew me out for that. She's probably going to say that I'm better off finding a job anyway. And then, of course, you know, I'm going to have to work with a job that basically puts me in low moral standards that will always chew me out and tell me that I'm not worth it, I'm worthless, and okay, I mean, part of it may be just me exaggerating it in my head. The other part of it is kind of true, because, you know, I have made my mistakes, and honestly, I'm not perfect at everything, and I wished I was. I wished I was better at things. I wished I could just magically make things work like it should, but I can't. I'm only human at the end of the day. ADHD gets in the way, that doesn't help, and, you know, I know I should be blaming myself. Like, I really should just be blaming myself on this, but, at the same time, it doesn't really necessarily help with me trying to navigate my own self, trying to figure out who I am, what I need to do, and where I need to go in life. And that's kind of the thing right there. Granted, it's not like I'm willing to give up that easily, because, again, I've mentioned my thoughts of suicide before on this channel, but if I had to bring it up again, the reason why I don't do it is because I just feel like I just don't have the will to do it. Or maybe I have the will not to do it. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to say, but, I prevent myself from doing it, which is kind of weird. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that depression doesn't take over, where I'm just sitting over here, grabbing some kind of junk food, coming over here, snacking on it while watching a whole bunch of YouTube videos. Because honestly, that's kind of how it ends up whenever I'm off camera, whenever I'm not streaming, or whenever I am doing this, or I'm editing videos. I am basically just snacking on chips and just watching YouTube videos nonstop, scrolling through YouTube. Even if it's videos that I'm not interested in, sometimes I just open it up and watch it and then get hypnotized by it, or just jump around so much because, I don't know, maybe it's just me trying to fill a pathetic void in my life. And granted, there's just also some things that I also do that are also kind of self-destructive. I go hobby shopping, and I really shouldn't. Like, I fire up Amazon and I take a look at all the stuff that I wish I could afford, but I know I can't, and I shouldn't try to buy. And yet I still end up putting it on my shopping list anyway. Which is kind of a bit of a problem right there. So you don't have to deal with the green filter because my computer went into a screensaver. Whatever. Anyway, and the real sad truth about this whole situation, the real kicker that I would have to say is that, honestly, yeah, I am dealing with depression, and yes, I probably should go out of my way just to seek help, And that's kind of the problem, too, was that seeking help would probably cost me some money, and honestly, I don't have money to spend. And I also don't have insurance. So I can't spend money with insurance either. In fact, I got my teeth filled, and honestly, I'm trying to figure out how on earth to make those ends meet, too, to pay off the dentist. Because, I want to try and pay it off as soon as I possibly can. Thank God my local dentist, the family dentist doesn't charge, interest or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like, I want to try and pay it off as soon as I can, because I know at the end of the day, he's just a guy who has to pay not only his bills, but his employees' bills. He also still has a family to feed, and he still has to, and he still wants to do things, too, with his life other than dentistry. That I can deeply understand, because, I'm pretty much in the same boat, too. I want to do other things with my life other than work with food, which, yes, unfortunately, I wound back up inside the food industry again. I'm not exactly pleased with it. But, I kind of want to be more than just a guy that works at drive-thru, or a guy who is doing prep, or the guy who's just putting away the fridge and the freezer, even if I do get good at it, even if I am good at that, I don't think that's necessarily me. I feel like that's just a role that I've been slotted into, a nurture versus nature type of thing, by nurture, I'm this, but by nature, I'm really not. I really hate it. I despise it. I've grown a distaste for it. And really, I don't really necessarily want to do it. Well. But then, of course, it's like this channel, though. Sometimes I feel a distaste for it. Sometimes I don't. It only depends. Because, the sad truth is that basically, no matter which way I look at it, it's still in the low of the lows. And honestly, I don't really necessarily care if it gets attention at this point anymore. Because, at this point, I'm just going to be doing my own thing. Really, nobody's going to pay attention to it. Why on earth should I care about what other people think? Why on earth should I put myself out there for the sake of caring with what other people think? Really. It does come down to that. And granted, I know I'm coming up on my 13th anniversary, and again, this is a sour note for the month of the shake to start out, but, after 13 years, if anybody were to walk up and ask me, do I regret starting this channel? Yeah, you could tell by the hesitation. It's not a solid no. It isn't. I would love to say no. I would definitely love to say no. But I can't. I can't make myself say no either. And I can't really necessarily make myself say yes either, which is part of the reason why the hesitation exists. Because, I still enjoy doing this. I still like making videos for you guys, and I still like trying to be an entertainer. I'm sorry if I'm probably about as dry as dirt and as interesting as sandpaper, and maybe watching paint dry is more entertaining. I want to try and be a little more entertaining for you guys, but sometimes I get into a hyper-focused mode, and it doesn't help. And I'm sorry about that. I really do want to break out of this. I really want to make myself get a little more different and be a little more intuitive and tell a little more jokes and all that other stuff. But sometimes it's just kind of hard. Especially when, you're dealing with your own inner monologue and it's telling you you're absolute garbage. I know. And some of it probably is just me overblowing some of the situation. Because, I feel like my dad does it. I feel like my boss does it. I feel like, everybody does it in a way. And granted, I really shouldn't be feeling like this. Because, again, I think that's just me overblowing it. But I don't know. It's hard to tell. You never know with people. You never really know. I mean, if you could read minds, then, yeah, then you could know. But you know what? If you could read minds, then what's the fun in that? You can know what everybody's thinking. Though, granted, you probably would want to stay out of my mind. And my dad would like to make a joke that it's just nothing more than a void, but really it isn't. Really, there's so much going on up here, I can't even keep track of it. Like, seriously. It's kind of hard to run a YouTube channel when you get 1 million ideas for it, and you don't remember a single one of those ideas. It's difficult. It's very, very difficult. But, the real truth is that basically no matter which way I look at it, I'm still kind of struggling to get myself onto my own 2 feet. And honestly, part of the reason why I ended up starting a Patreon page is because it started shortly after I started getting less hours at my work. Part of it was because I know I'm still going to need the money to survive, and it's a part of a contingency plan. Though, granted, I don't feel like I have much to offer when it comes down to the terms of services, because, when you think about it, YouTube videos, granted, may work for some people. I don't feel like that's a fully tangible thing. And I know that some people probably go like, yeah, but there's a lot of other YouTubers who monetize their videos. Yeah, that's a lot of other YouTubers. This is me. I don't feel like my videos are monetizable in any way, shape, or form. And you know what? Considering how much the algorithm has beaten me down, has kicked me in the nuts more than once, I would have to say that really the algorithm doesn't care either. YouTube doesn't really necessarily care. And honestly, I'm kind of on my own. That means I can do whatever the heck I want, which is fine, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I can't really necessarily use YouTube as a tangible source of income, I mean, this is kind of why I'm switching over, why I want to do more game dev than YouTube. Because I feel like that could actually make some kind of income, especially if I land it just right, if I roll the dice just right, and I manage to make something that people want to play, something that people want to buy, something that people would be interested in. And, well, that's kind of what I wanted to do with my Patreon around this time. I didn't want to do it around my YouTube channel, kind of like how I did it last time, or around my comic series, which, of course, granted, I know a lot of people are probably going to be wondering if that's dead at this point. It almost is, but I can't keep myself from thinking about it every now and then, though. Especially with the fact that I finally figured out how to start the whole frickin' thing off, where you can get introduced to the characters, and the characters, and, in a way, well, introduced to the characters in a way that they feel familiar to you, and it's kind of like, oh, a serial adventure, you know? It's like Indiana Jones. You know who the guy is just by the name. I mean, the name alone already states that this guy is about adventure. This guy is about excitement. This guy is about action, you know? I mean, I kind of want to do something like that with the comics, but, you know. Again, if I had to say anything, though, personally, I'm trying to switch it over from, like, YouTube stuff to more game dev style stuff, you know? Because I feel like the games are a little more tangible. And personally, I do have a few fun offers up there, especially with the fact that, granted, actually my lowest tier is $1. No, seriously, $1. Well, actually, no, that's not even the lowest tier. The lowest tier is free. Yeah, you can join Patreon for absolutely free. I set that checkmark myself. Why? Because why not? I mean, really, granted, I know I'm not making any money off of it, but, you know, you can always join, and if you think it's worth it, or if you think any of those tiers are worth it, then you could choose to pay if you want to. I mean, granted, I'm not going to make you. I don't want to make you. It's your decision. It's your money. You do whatever the heck you want with it. If you want to save it up to buy a bike, buy a bike. I'm not going to stop you from that. I'm not going to tell you, hey, I need your money. Send me your money. Because, you know, I'm not like that. I mean, granted, while I do a good job of saving up money, I really don't like it very much. I know some people are going to find me weird, but tell you the truth, I mean, I've seen it ruin a lot of things, and I've seen it ruin a lot of people, and tell you the truth, it's kind of the thing that I would have to say something about the AAA gaming scene, you know, and all that other stuff. I mean, granted, even if I end up swimming in cash, I would still rather make a good product that people will like than push out something that's rather mediocre, safe, and, you know, doesn't really necessarily do much, and honestly is like, ooh, look at the pretty flashing lights, and we're gonna put fancy names on it and all that other stuff. No, I don't want to do that, okay? I mean, I don't want to make too many promises, but at the same time, I also don't want to under-promise myself either. Like, honestly, there's them things that I ended up having to scrap from the Metroidvania Game Jam game. And honestly, there's going to be some things that I'm probably going to end up... Well, I'm probably going to end up scrapping maybe a few extra things, too, if things don't necessarily get better in the terms of development. There's some rocks in the way, but if you want to know more, check out some of the live streams. I got one coming up this Friday, but, you know, again, the real truth is that basically no matter which way you look at it, I am trying to be my own person here. I'm trying to figure out who I am, what I need to do, and where I need to do, and what I need to do from this point on. If it involves quitting my job and getting myself kicked out of this house, fine. I'll quit my job and I'll get myself kicked out of this house. Whatever leads me into spiritual enlightenment, because, you know, I think I said that already about watching a certain YouTuber saying that success should be measured by happiness. And tell you the truth, I can't disagree with that. Because, you know, if I was measuring success by happiness right now, I would say that I'm not very successful right now because I don't feel very happy with myself. I don't feel like I'm working to my full capacity. I don't feel like I'm being as productive as I should be. And I feel like I hamper myself quite a bit because I feel miserable. I feel depressed. Because, you know, some of the things that are in my life keeps me this way. It keeps me depressed. It keeps me miserable. And it doesn't necessarily make me feel any better about myself. So, you know, part of the reasons why I ended up quitting Taco John's and then ended up debating whether if I should go back to a job or not, because I was feeling good, you know? I was feeling way better about myself, and honestly, I felt so good that I was able to make more videos because of it. And that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all, because after a while, towards the end of November, I ended up going back into another job and then ended up falling into the exact same pit. So, I don't know. I'm really debating about this, because I have no idea where I'm going to be going for the near future. I have no idea what road I'm going to be going down, and I don't know what road I'm going to be taking. I hope it's a fun one, and I hope it's exciting. It's not going to be easy, because, the correct route and right is never the easiest one. Because, I could just stick with the job that I have, work it out, so that I can get full-time again, try to be the perfect employee, but that just doesn't feel right. It doesn't. It doesn't feel right for me. And that's probably part of... And that's the thing right there. I can't. I just can't make myself be the perfect employee. I can't promise myself that I can always get it right no matter what. I can work on it so I always get it picture perfect every single time. Because I know it's not going to work like that. I know it's never going to work like that. Because at the end of the day, I'm still me, and I don't know if I can do anything to fix myself about that. But anyway, maybe I rambled on too long. Anyway, if you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And I kind of want to hear what your thoughts are. If you want to criticize me or hate me or whatever, go right ahead. Do it. Comments are down below. And I'll see you all in the next video. This is Superchocolatemilkshake, signing off.